So, why would somebody seek out DBT therapy? DBT therapy has something for everybody. There is not one person who can't benefit from some or all of the DBT treatment. I like to think of it as humans, everybody, including myself and the rest of the staff at DBT of South Jersey, we all have ways of coping and responding to situations that are helpful. And we also have ways of coping or responding to situations in life that are not super helpful. For example, if I'm really upset with my partner and I decide to go for a walk, that's helpful. If I decide to scream at my partner and slam doors or throw things, that's not helpful. It makes things worse. DBT gives us the skills that we need to be able to understand our emotions and our actions, our thoughts, and how they're all connected to each other. It also teaches us what to do when we are faced with something that is upsetting or is about to turn into something that can make the situation worse. For example, slamming doors, throwing things, yelling, or lashing out. And so, with those tools, I'm able to have a bigger awareness of my role in my current environment. And I'm able to slow things down to be able to be a little bit more intentional with how I respond to the different things that life throws to me on any given day. Now, DBT was originally made for folks who have a diagnosis called borderline personality disorder. It's a pretty stigmatized disorder that doesn't have a ton of research. And I think these days we're really looking at borderline personality disorder as a form of complex post traumatic stress disorder. And the very basic sense of this is that somebody who was born with a more um, vulnerable emotional system, just like somebody can be born with brown eyes and their sibling can be born with blue eyes, that person has a more emotionally sensitive system. So they just kind of like, if you imagine them having antennas for emotion, they pick up stimuli quicker and easier to those around them, and they experience emotions a bit more intensely. Now, when that person is born into and lives a life where the environment doesn't fit the needs of that person, and there's invalidation going on over and over throughout their life, then the symptoms of borderline personality disorder start to happen. But it really does make a lot of sense given, when you look at their life and their past experiences. And that's why it feels very close to complex PTSD. I think a lot of people also don't really recognize what trauma can look like outside of stereotypical examples. And that's still something that I think is very new and continues to develop and evolve. But I say all of this because while some people are going to need all DBT and everything that it has to offer, individual skills training, phone coaching, while some people might need all of that, um, not everybody will, but everybody will benefit from some of it. So I like to think of it as, if I'm inviting you over for dinner, um, how much you'll eat is going to depend on how hungry you are. So you might come in and you might be a little bit full, but you might still just want dessert. And so that's great. Whereas somebody might come in and they haven't eaten all day and they actually need all of the courses, not just dessert. They need an appetizer, they need something to drink, they need their meal, they need dessert. And so, if you think of it that way, everybody who comes into DBT of South Jersey will benefit from something, no matter what their need is. Some will need more, some will need less. But whether you're a child, a teen, an adult, whether you are trying to better understand your family members, your friends, or you're better trying to understand yourself, there is something in DBT for everybody.